here are a few words about Charles Tomlinson Griffes' poem, a piece which I'm sure every one of you who is watching this has played. He wrote it right at the end of his life for the great flutist Georges Barrère, who was a commission from Barrère. And he wrote it in an epoch. He lived in New York and he was totally into the New York scene. This was in the early 20s, 1920 actually. He was very young. He died at the age of 35. He was living in an era when something called Orientalism was really all the rage. People were fascinated by the Middle East and harems and scarves and incense, and it showed up in fashion and in furniture design and in costume design. And so everyone kind of has assumed all along that Charles Griffes' poem was also an Orientalist piece because of the wonderful use of percussion near the end, the kind of dance form of it, the mystery of it. And I just never kind of went for that. I thought there was something else, and I didn't know what it was until I started studying Native American culture more carefully. Because during those same years, the photographs of Edward Curtis were becoming more available to people. He wanted to document a people who were really in danger of vanishing altogether from our continent, who were being destroyed, basically, by the onward rush of European settlers and moneymakers. And their culture was being destroyed, and it was not really respected, as it is starting to become now. Now we know there are great secrets which we can all live better lives by. There was a painter whose name was Ralph Albert Blakelock, who was living in New York City around the same time as Charles Griffes. I don't know whether they ever met, but I have a feeling they did, because they were both struggling artists. Blakelock had a large family he was struggling to support and couldn't really. He was mentally ill, and he died young also. But he painted a picture called Moonlight, which you can go to the Brooklyn Museum and see. Well, I saw this painting and suddenly I thought, this is it. That's the spirit of Blakelock stirring the trees. Can you get in on this? So what we're seeing is a campfire with a group of people telling a story in a teepee. And in the middle is the moon shining down on everything. And one person on horseback has gone to contemplate the moon, and head uplifted is drinking in the moonlight. And to me, this is the Griffes poem, because it starts with the cellos low, telling a story. The flute starts to tell the story, and there are agitato sections where it's as if you're saying in the days when we were here and ruled the land, and a sense of danger and struggle. And then tranquillo comes, and that to me is the moon. That is this moment where the man or woman on horseback is looking at the moon. And the fact that it always comes back means some sort of great reference to history and story. And then there's the dance. Could be young girls dancing around telling the story. Then there's maybe a dance of maybe vengeance or some sort of wildness around the fire. And then back to Tranquillo at the end and telling the story again. So see if you can get a copy of this. You can find it online. Ralph Blakelock's loved to paint moonlight, so there are many moonlight pictures. But this is the one to me that's the real masterpiece of all of them.